My cat usually calibrates higher than my eggs.
Yeah.
For the most part, the pets.
Well, we've talked a little bit about the standard classic single homeopathic remedies. Well, the other things that we do provide for the clients are some flowers. And I use the traditional, what's known as the Bach flowers. And Dr. Bach had dedicated a lot of his career to working these up, and this was in the 1930s. And if you look around, you'll find all kinds of information and books on the Bach flowers.
And you'll see Bach Remedies.
Right, and Bach Remedies. Those are combinations made from the Bach flowers. And this one is called Handbook of the Bach Flower Remedies by Chancellor. And this one's just become my favorite. I honestly don't know whether this one is available or not.
It's called Handbook of the Bach Flower Remedies.
Correct. And it's Philip Chancellor. And this one's just become my favorite. Like many of my other homeopathic books, I used to have hundreds, and now I maybe have a dozen. I just got rid of all the ones that, well, weren't my favorites. So here too, we make the statement, this client needs and uses a flower remedy. The answer is yes. You need a flower from page or row 1, row 2, however you want to look at it. The way I typically look at it when I'm testing, the flower you need is agrimony through crabapple, elm through larch, mimulus through sweet chestnut. And it's going to come up as being in one of those categories. And just by the process of elimination, you will come up with the appropriate remedy. What flowers do is they open the door for the individual to process that emotion. The flower does not do the work for you. It just makes that space available for you. Traditionally, the flowers are used as essences. You can buy the flower essences in homeopathic pharmacies and various health food stores and so on. They will sell the flower essences. And that is the most typical way that they are used. You would take a drop or two of the essence, or sometimes take a drop or two and dilute it in water or a water alcohol combination. That's the classical way of doing this, and I still have all of the flower essences. And when I test, nobody wants the essence. They all want it potentized to a much higher potency than that, original essence. So I hardly ever use those anymore. And when the individual selects the flowers through the muscle testing, I then test to see what's the appropriate potency. And gosh, it can be anything on that, on our scale of potencies. It can really turn out to be anything. Flowers is one of those things where people will select, say they want pine at 10M. And oftentimes we're making remedies that are in a range of like 30C to 10M. Flowers is one of those things that oftentimes they'll just want one potency. No, I just want 10M, no range. Okay? So that's not unusual.
And so you'll ask for each, say they want pine and olive.
Right.
So you'll test for pine, 10M,
Yes.
and then you'll test for olive, and whatever that is, you blend.
I will put that together in the remedy.
Okay.
Right. Very frequently, when someone wants more than one flower, say they want 2, 3, or 4, very often they're all at the same potency. It's not like they're all different.
Okay.
I don't know why that works out like that. It just happens to work out like that. The only other flowers that I use that are not on this list, because this is the list of the original 38 Bach flowers, The other ones that are valuable are chamomilla, which is on your list of remedies, and the other one is valeriana.
That's for sleep? Or
Well,
calmness?
Yeah, valeriana, the flower of valeriana is of course the source for Valium. Okay? So basically it's homeopathic Valium. And chamomilla is also very calming and soothing. Chamomilla is the classic remedy for teething children.
We're just adding it on the list.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you can
Oh,
just
the
write
sheet of
that
paper
in.
and I think they just want to write there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I must say that my experience is that when you make up a flower remedy for people, they oftentimes get very attached to it.
Yes,
Wow.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. People get very attached to those.
Especially when he tightens it up on the visit.
Right. So do get yourself some kind of, guidebook to the flowers, because when an individual will test for wanting one of the flowers, here let's open up it here at random, and we get mimulus, okay? And right below mimulus are the keywords or keynotes for this particular flower. And for this one, it's fear or anxiety of known origins. So you have anxiety about something you know about, whereas sometimes people have anxiety about the unknown, right? Let's take,
Star of Bethlehem.
oh, okay, you want to take Star of Bethlehem? Sure,
Yeah.
let me grab that one.
No, I'm trying to find his book.
So, Star of Bethlehem is for the after effects of shock, either mental or physical. Rock Rose is for terror, panic, extreme fright. So, if someone tests for Rock Rose, I will test to see which of these qualities that you need this for. The terror, the panic, the extreme fright. And very frequently when you have a flower come up and you go, oh, it's Rock Rose, and you need that for, let's see, extreme fright. And the person just immediately, that resonates with them, and I go, oh yeah, that's it. Right? So sometimes it's valuable to be able to test for those qualities. Here we have wild oat, which is uncertainty, despondency, dissatisfaction. Right? And without muscle testing, it would be difficult to, tell those two apart. Right? So that's one of the things that your little guidebook can be handy for.
Oh, another book. Oh, sorry.
That book is still available.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, you looked at, oh, good, okay.
Yes.
That's terrific.
You can get it from individual sellers on Amazon. Buying options, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, like this one is new, it's excellent condition with a crease on the front cover, but
Okay.
it is what it is.
It has history to it.
That's right.
It's distinguished.
Hopefully notes.
Very nice.
Let's see, I talked a little bit about the colors. You do have a page in here that has the colors listed. Now the colors I find are good for the emotional state as well as for the spiritual plane. Typically the lower frequencies are the ones that would be used for some kind of metabolic process, red through blue, sort of those colors. And then at turquoise and above, you're getting into the higher frequencies, and that oftentimes has to do with some sort of spiritual thing. I know that's very nebulous, let's see, one of the colors that I have found to be handy is in issues of inflammation. Blue will cool people off. So I've given blue to help with inflammation.
And how do you get blue?
Hmm?
And you
And a remedy. Right. You can make blue as a remedy.
Oh, where does that blue come from as a remedy?
when we go into remedies, you know?
Oh, I mean, like, wait, okay. Are you little Jeff?
Cute.
There's big Jeff.
Well, I don't think she could be the tall Jeff.
The tall Jeff is very tall.
Very
Right.
tall.
And then the other really handy one is the pink, which I mentioned, is pink is really good for cheering people up. Okay? Really good for cheering people up. We talked about potencies the other day, as represented on page 9, the list of potencies. We talked about the dilution rate of the X potencies being diluted times 10, and the C potency rate as being a dilution rate of 1 to 100. Toward the end of Hahnemann's career, he started experimenting with very high potencies, a very high dilution rate. It was 1 part to 50,000. And the first dilution, it would be the Roman numerals LM for 50,000. LM1 is the first dilution, okay? And then LM2, and it went up to LM7. And this was something he began experimenting with towards the end of his career. LM7, or LMs, are not used very much in homeopathy. When we were experimenting with the colors, we came to find out that a lot of these colors were wanted in the LM potency, particularly for really potent emotional issues, spiritual plane disturbances, things of that nature, that individuals wanted the colors in an LM potency. Yeah. So that has been the only time I've ever used LM potencies, that they've been requested.
Didn't you say that white was good also for trauma or something?
Yes, and also white, typically again in a high like LM potency, is oftentimes very beneficial for resolving nasty traumas. You know, nasty traumas like rape and child abuse, things like that. The white can be very beneficial for clearing that. Okay. And I only quickly mentioned the sounds, they're not even in our book, and the sounds that we're interested in are the notes A, B, C, and so on. And if an individual tests for wanting one of those, you want to see whether it's, you know, C natural, C sharp, C flat, right? C whatever it is. Typically, most of them are, they want the natural note. And again, then test for the potency as to where they want that sound.
Right.
One of the other things that's not in your books, and not everyone is interested in raising their consciousness. To some people, it never even occurred. Right? Well, seriously. I mean, the way the Buddha put it was, you know, it's rare to be born a human being. And as a human being, it is rare to hear of enlightenment, and rarer still to pursue it. So, I say it's not necessarily a large percentage of the population. I will test to see if people want what I refer to as a consciousness element. And the elements, starting at the bottom, is copper, then silver, then gold, and at the top is Adamas, A-D-A-M-A-S, which is diamond. And I've found that people who are interested in pursuing consciousness, that they will test for wanting one of those elements. Typically, the level of consciousness of people who come to see me, most of them want gold. And it's like they'll start off at 30C, and the next month it's 40C, and
Oh, wow.
and it just grows. And at some point they outgrow gold, and they're ready to make the jump to Adamas. And again, then they'll start at a low potency with Adamas, 10 or 20, and then that will continue to grow. And their need for that just goes along with as their consciousness grows. This element just continues to encourage that. That's nowhere in the book.
Okay.
You just have to remember that part.
Do you check that for everyone who first comes your way?
Yeah, at some point I do that, see if they want an element in their remedy. Let's see. This is homeopathy, and there's another thing called isopathy, I-S-O-P-A-T-H-Y. Now, homeopathy means similar. Isopathy means identical. So, in homeopathy, when you have a fever, we give you a remedy that would create a fever. Okay? It's similar to whatever the ailment may be. You can do isopathy, which is identical. So, an instance of that would be, say you have an individual who has a cold. You could take a Q-tip and just take a swab of their mouth, use that as a sample, and turn that sample into the remedy. It's no longer similar, it's identical. We tend to get better results with similar as opposed to identical.
Really?
Yeah. The only times I've used that has been in situations where, I didn't have access to other remedies, and that was the only sample there was, and so on. It does work. It does work. You can take a sample of the original thing and turn that into the remedy. Isopathy. The only instance we have of doing that in the digestive remedy, we use Carboanimalis, Carbovegetalis, and Laccaninum, and then the fourth one is Manila albicans. Manila albicans is exactly the yeast that we're working on, so that is isopathic in that instance. Okay, that's the only time we're doing that, and there may be times where that comes up as appropriate. Okay? Yeah. Undoubtedly, since they do represent some percentage of the population, you're going to have some clients that are recovering alcoholics. What that means is you can't give them dropper bottles because they have alcohol.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Okay? So, you still go through the process of testing to see which dropper bottles these people need. And then you just turn the dropper bottles into tablets. As you learn to make remedies, you'll see just how easy that is. So ideally, during the process of the interview, if they are alcoholics, that somehow comes up. My experience has been is that most people who are in recovery, they say so. It's part of what they say. Am I say you got any issues? I go, yeah, well, this is one of them. So typically, we have any questions about any of this stuff that I've just gone stumbling through?
For the dropper, they're recovering alcoholics, and then you're creating them into tablets. Does it dilute the?
No, it doesn't dilute their effectiveness.
Not the effectiveness, but the strength of it?
No,
No.
no. The other thing that you can do with the dropper bottles, because there are some people who may not be recovering alcoholics, but they just find the alcohol annoying, is just loosen the cap and let it sit out, and the alcohol will evaporate.
I screw my cap on really tight.
Oh, now we know.
I thought we wanted to keep that for preservative.
It is a preservative, that's the whole idea.
Preservative.
Because the only reason for the alcohol being in the dropper bottles is if you happen to touch lips or tongue, you're carrying bacteria back into the bottle, and the alcohol will kill it.
I think we all
So,
do that.
the whole thing about the alcohol is just to keep it clean, right? Individuals who have a problem with that, I just tell them, just unscrew the cap, let the alcohol evaporate, and then make sure you don't touch your lips and tongue, and everything will be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I keep my alcohol. I touch my lips and tongue. I'm not that good of a shot.
Yeah,
You're not
every
that
now
good a
and then I will too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Are we done with space? He's like, okay, enough is enough.
Another voice break.
Okay. What's that remedy that